Good evening and hello again. So, another round in my Rune series. We're almost there. Today I have the Rune Dagaz. And next week one more time and then we're done with the Futhark. So, as I said, today I will talk about the Rune Dagaz, which means most likely twilight. And it's in the third Aetia, of course. And it gets a little, not confusing, but it's a twilight, right? And so and it's kind of the rune of the breakthrough, because through confusion, friendships will be made. Let's take for an example Heimdall and Loki. So its tree is the spruce, and its herb, it's the marigold. Its element is earth and fire is associated with Loki. So yeah, like I said, it's a rune of twilight, daylight. It's the rune of awakening, the transitional state, the sacred synthesis of the polarity of life in general, the mystic moment, the gnosis. So, and of course, Dagaz stands for the letter D. So Dagaz symbolizes the positive energy of light when it shines the most. So she's the rune of the noon and summer center. So everything shines. And she's a very strong protective rune, protection rune. So for example, if you draw Dagaz in your thought, or unreal with your hand with a movement over windows and doors, for example. So this rune is really positive through and through. It brings you the success, your long journey is finally paying off now. So stay tuned. Definitely go ahead now. So light enters your life, and Dagaz brings you the success. It brings you the growth, the progress, clear insights, and protection as well. So even in the bad, you will find now the good. So the meaning of it is Dagaz stands for the day or the light of the day as it is perceived at the time of sunrise and sunset, at dawn and dusk. And for a short time, day and night merge in the twilight, uniting their forces, then gradually replacing each other, right? So, and that's why Dagaz is also a rune of change and transition, because we are going through that transition as well, right? We did our shadow work, we looked at our dark part, and we realized it's not that bad, and neither is night, right? So here is the balance again. So the rune symbolizes an imminent development towards the better. Really, it is the rune of perfect awakening. So and thus the shape of the rune symbolizes the balance between day and night. The Dagaz rune is an Odinic paradox that stands for the formation of a synthesis of opposites. So the attainment of the mystical moment and the reception of mystical inspiration. So this rune is a contradiction in itself, but also dissolves it. So I hope that makes sense. So the twilight symbolized by the Dagaz rune is a symbol of the birth of knowledge, or the light of consciousness. So opposites are parts of something larger, something comprehensive. No thing in the multiverse can be considered by itself, as it always depends on its opposites and the surrounding conditions, right? So the search for the light of knowledge at the mystery of Dagaz starts from the extremes, the outer realms. So the whole is the key. The whole picture is the key, not the isolated view of the page, right? So this also influences the contemplation of, let's say, for example, Christians, concepts of good and evil, which as such are in fact non-existent. Okay, especially not in paganism, you know. They just simply do not exist. So, and this also influences, like I said, it just influences us in a way, those concepts of good and evil. I don't even want to go there now. So, and seen in the 3D, the form of Dagaz represents an endless cycle. So, for example, twilight returns again and again, right? Just as extremes always revolve around an area of equilibrium. For comparison, Nilfheim and Muspelheim in cosmology, I mentioned that in Anna's show or before. So these extremes are the realms of those who seek to attain knowledge in the footsteps of Odin. So the knowledge of the extremes helps to understand the whole rather than a persistence in the balance of the middle. So I hope I make sense. What I'm saying is, again, you need to accept both sides. Dark, light, above, below, inside out. You know what I mean? You need to see the whole picture, the whole page. So, because one cannot exist without the other, and this is the perfect example again in Dagaz. So, and this rune marks the near end of the third tier, right? So, and it clears the way for Otala, which is the next rune, and that rune will complete the circle. So, and as in the previous two ayats, for example, Dagaz ends the third with light and hope, while Wunyu, that ended before the other ayat, stands for earthly glory and sun. So Dagaz brings the two realms together, bringing the very abstract light of Zovelo back to earth, into everyday life. So unlike Ingvas, it symbolizes harmony with nature and the human environment, but goes one step further, and it includes spirituality. Okay? So in the figurative sense, Dagaz stands as a twilight rune for the I can't translate it in German. It's Götterdämmerung, so it's the dawn of gods in Ragnarok. So if the downfall of paganism by Ragnarok, secular of course through the church, was a sort of dusk, the world is now experiencing more and more people turning back to their roots, turning away from hostile Christianity, from other hostile religions, and they start rediscovering the ancient knowledge. They start to gather the information that they have access to inside out through their ancestors, through their connection through the source. And it's so important, really. And and again, the dawn, is protected and promoted in the spirit of Dagaz. So see the middle where you are now. And even though this is not a collective reading, I say that again and again, I do not do collective rune readings, but it always every week, or even if I skip a week, the rune I'm talking about always hits the nail, I find lately. It's just blowing my mind away. Maybe I just started the Futhark to the right time. I'm not sure. Well, actually, I am sure. So what am I talking about? So, yeah, like we're about to break out of that twilight. We are illuminating. Yeah, I hope you understand what I mean by that, but I'm sure you do. So then, of course, we got the magic. If you want to use Dagaz for magic purposes. So Dagaz represents the ritual fire of the fireplace and the mystical light, the Vitki rune. So for that the magician perceives in magical actions. I will talk about this another time because I want to concentrate on Dagaz. So Dagaz embodies the synthesis of the power of day and night, right? As I said, through the concept of dawn and dusk. So, and this is expressed in the celestial phenomena of the morning and evening star, symbols of the divine twins. So again, there is no good or bad, you know. And I don't know, for whatever reason they call it morning star and then they make it look bad. You know, you with me here? Okay. So Dagaz is the rune of polarity. And like I said, it's the Odinic paradox, which is the central mystery of the ones that work with Odin. So it is contained in the paradoxical nature of God Odin itself and can best be explained by the concept of the mystical moment. The moment sought and found in the vortex of polarized concepts. So these concepts are merged so that two extremes become one. Okay? So Dagaz is the place and time when darkness and light, joy and pain, life and death, body and soul, matter and energy form, you know, and so on and so on. And they form a synthesis in a common concept that transcends it perceptible, recognizable counterpart. So yeah, Dagaz transcends the boundaries, you know, even of linguistic expressions. So, so Dagaz is pure gnosis. So Dagaz is the most mystic linked rune of the Elder Futhark, leading the seeker directly into the transcendence beyond the polarities. So therefore, it is not possible to give any further recommendations for their use in the magic here, because this is an immediate, deeply personal matter between the cosmic and the inner of the magician. So I hope I explained the magical part as good as I could. So, and also the moon you can use if you like. So if the moon is decreasing, you may get answers to open questions. And if the moon is decreasing, then it helps you to take something back or want to change the situation, if you want to take a step back and start all over again. So this will support you. So, but again, and with everyone I need to say that, be careful. If you misuse it, Dagaz can be also destructive, even though there is nothing bad about the rune, but it's about the user of the rune, right? So if you misuse it, it can make you hopeless. It can make you blind. I mean, not literally blind on your eyes, but blind for situations. It can cause end of situations that you didn't expect. So please always have respect. I'm not saying freaking out about runes or being paranoid about runes. All I'm saying is treat them with respect. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying bow and dance around them, you know. I'm just saying, yeah, just respect and use them for something, not to hurt someone. So, what you can use it for is, since it symbolizes the moment between day and night, which we know as the blue hour, you know, so it helps you to harmonize. When you visualize it on the forehead, it opens the third eye. It will help you to open the third eye. So be careful, right? Like, runes are strong. So, and it's also the 5th non-reversible rune that we have. So the effect, if you want to use it as a talisman or an amulet, so it will give you mystical inspiration. It will give you access to your super personal, gifts, not powers. I don't like that word. So that's why I was thinking what I could say. Access to your gifts that we all have and that they don't want us to get access to. And this is why we're all getting dumbed down. So it will help you. It gives you the reduction of narrow-mindedness. So, and the amulet will help you to avoid dubious states of misjudgments or wrong company. You know, even sometimes we hang out with people that we like and think they're good for us, and we do everything, but at the end, it's not good company. So, and a talisman can help you with your own persistence, you know, in the pursuit of important life goals. So it's really a beautiful rune through and through. And also for your health, right? As you know, I always explain that you can also heal with runes. So what this rune is responsible for in this case is for anxiety or mental disorder and depression. You know, it's health strengthening, and it will root you in your super personal. So again, it is so important to do our so-called shadow work and release, because only if you let it out of the dark, then it can heal in the light. Do I make sense? So, and as an oracle meaning, if you pulled the runes, or if you threw the runes, or if you whacked the rune set against the wall and there, I don't know how you do it, right? But then the message is your security and certainty. So the clarity of daylight as opposed to the uncertainty of the night. So it's time, the message could be that it's time for you to start a new business, you know, or start a new goal, whatever it is for you, whatever your question was. So it tells you, yes, go ahead. Now is the time. It promises happiness, success, activity, contentment, and a fulfilling life. So if you draw this rune regarding a question like that, it's a yes. So, but again, it depends on your question, right? And also the message is, it could also be like to be between the extremes. Do not look at them singly, but always as a whole. Like I said before, merge with them, reach the mystical moment by grasping the mystery, and receive mystical inspiration as a gift of Odin. So You look for the idol everywhere. You know, we all do. We always look for, further, how grass is the green on the other side. And we think that person has this, or this person is better than me. Why don't I have the knowledge? And where can I find my answer? Panic. So, but it may also be hidden where you least expect it. So keep always an open mind. This is what I wanted to say with that. Yeah, and that was it so far for the rune. And then, of course, I have to fill you with this. It's actually the fox that goes with it, but I didn't feel it. So the badger actually wanted to be part of it. Now you will think, not the honey badger though, because honey badgers don't care. Now you're wondering, why the badger? Isn't he aggressive? Yeah, he can be aggressive, and you don't want to mess with him. I mean, we all protect ourselves. We all protect our, family, friends. But that's not the message of the badger, really. So let me tell you a little about the badger and our ancient civilization, what they thought about him. So, for the Celts, for example, he was very popular for the Celts because of his courage and his persistence. So in their beliefs, he occupies a great place as an unyielding and stubborn animal, right? And it was therefore believed that the skin of his head was particularly thick and resistant. So, and it's possible that the inhabitants of the Scottish Highlands made traditional purses out of his head, and the money should be especially safe in that because, he was so stubborn and thick-headed. And the Hopi have a story with him too. So the Badger clan as a story in which a badger proves his healing abilities, for example. So, and there is a story that there was a child of the tribe that was seriously ill, and an elder went into the woods to find a medicine. And he discovered an unknown track, followed her, and arrived at a badger. So, and the badger came out of his cave. He dug out an herb and handed it to the elder. So, and this herb turned the sick child, and recovered. So since then, the badger symbolizes the healer and herbalist among the Hopis. So those are just two ancient civilizations. There are more stories, but let's get to the message of the badger. So the badger, he moves kind of in the light as well as in the dark. He's out, but he's also in the dark in his cave. So he takes us into his shelter of his cave, and he teaches us how to bring light into the darkness. So do not try to search for the light in the dark, but be the light yourself. Again, we have it in us. So he is familiar with the forces that sleep in nature, be it the healing power of the plants, or the contact with the other world and ancestors. And those who let themselves be led by the badger are encouraged to trust themselves and put the findings into practice. And that's, again, you might find them in places where you never expected it. Keep an open mind. So, and much of what we seek outside is already dormant in ourselves, like I said so, and the badger helps you to create something hidden. The badger is a wise power animal that wants to make you aware that most of what you really need in your life can only be found in nature or in ourselves, So that's a very nice message. So, and I bet now you don't think that bad at all of that badger anymore, right? So again, he's an example. He helps us healing, or as a herbalist, or you know, with his knowledge. So yeah, did anyone expected that of the badger? And that's what I mean, where you last expected. So then next, I would like to talk a bit about Loki, the god of fire, who's associated with that rune. No, that's not him. And that is not him either. Sorry, I had to do that. So, here we go. So, Loki is the god of fire. God of jokes, god of transformation, god of cunning, and a trickster. He's half god and half giant. A character changer who can transform himself into an eagle, mare, or salmon. So, and the name Loki is derived from the Nordic logi, loha. So, and Grimm's turned Loki into Logi. So that clumsy giant, a natural force of fire. The seductive villain who reassembled the Greek Prometheus and Hephaestus. So you find him everywhere in all tales. So, and with a giant, here I go again, I don't speak Icelandic. I wish I would, and I can never pronounce the right word name, the words correct. So please forgive me. And you're thinking I'm talking about runes. I should, yeah. If I don't have time to learn Icelandic. I really don't. I rarely made it to this episode today. I'm so busy I can't find the ass with both hands. So, with the giant Angerboda, which is called the Fear Maker, and that is what he reassembled to. So, Loki is the father of the wolf Fenrir, the snake Midgardsamra or Jörmungand, and the death goddess Hel, which, you know, she's not the bringer of death in that term, but I talked about that on Anna, so, and before I mentioned her too, right? As a mare, Loki gave birth to the stallion Sleipnir. This is Odin's mount, or Odin's horse that I talked about before. So Loki is also considered the father of Nerfi, the cool one, a giant, and father of the night Nod. So with a fire rhyme in Glot, he testified the two fire excrements I'm Myria and Isa, which means ashes, and Ymyria or Glot means yeah, now I forgot the word in English. Wow, that worked well. You know, the steaming charcoal, you could say it. I apologize. So Loki is a cunning, devious opponent and assistant to the Asens. So he was already involved in the construction of Asgard. So, and he has often caused troubles for the Asians. So, but he also helped them a lot, even if he just wanted to stay out of trouble. So Loki had shoes, they say, with which he could walk through the air and water. Some say that Loki used to travel through the country with Odin, and that they therefore made blood brotherhood and added Loki to the Aces. So that's the part where Odin adopts him. You know what I mean? Not marvelous like. So then he should also have created the first humans with Odin and his brother Hönir, Vili, and gave them the ear and the flourishing appearance. So Loki is associated to the rune Dagaz, and the animal stands nearby is the snake for Loki. So it's a construction of Asgard. So what did he do once? Yeah, once Loki helped build the Asgard castle, and his master builder had agreed to Freya's wages, including the sun, Sol, and the moon, Mani, provided he completed the construction by the end of the winter. So the Asens consented to oath and witnesses, but when the master, with the help of his horse, Svadilfari, actually seemed to observe the deadline, they consulted and demanded that Loki, who had advised the trade, bounce the builder over his wages. So Loki turned into a mare and seduced the stallion Svadilfari, so that Asgard could not finish in time. So, the result of Loki's encounter with a horse was Sleipnir, Odin's 8-legged horse. So, I also know that Loki is called demonish or evil, and that's a bunch of poo-poo. He just symbolizes the darker part, right? He's a trickster. He plays with and like I said, and if you look at the whole picture, sometimes it even helps to get tricked, because then, you know, it pushes you maybe out of a situation or into another situation that was made for you, or how else can I say that without sounding totally retarded? Yeah, let me put it this way. It can help you to become more aware of situations. Do it make sense? Yeah. So, I mean, of course, at the end of Ragnarok, all the forces come together. All the forces of the universe. All the forces of the multiverse. Yeah, Ragnarok's end is near. And so is our reset. So be prepared, right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that was just a little story about Loki. And of course, you know, you can read more about him in the Edda if you're interested. So next we have the tree for it, the spruce. So the Teutons, the Celts, they saw in the spruce a sacred connection between heavenly and earthly vitality. So likewise in Siberia, the spruce was the world tree. So it linked the different levels of reality to each other. So, and the Yakuts believed that the shamans are born in spruce trees and grow up in the nests in their branches. So, and the people of the Orient celebrated the death, and which is autumn, and the resurrection, which is spring of the vegetation. So evergreen trees have always played a prominent role as a symbol of overcoming death and the infinity of life. So the spruce tree symbolizes, or symbolical, takes up the tradition as a tree of life and world axis when it is used as a Christmas tree. It's not a Christmas tree, so the setting up of spruce trees to the winter solstice goes back to pre-Christianal times, okay? And the first Christmas tree was set up in Strasbourg Cathedral in 1539. So, but the tradition goes back before that. And although the church initially sought to abolish this original pagan custom, the evergreen light-bringing tree was simply too popular. Because it is so beautiful, right? And the other elements of the Christmas tree also refer to the winter solstice festivals. So the originally red, shiny Christmas balls are symbol of the apple, which in turn make reference to the life and world tree. Gold and silver adorn the tree as symbol of fullness, and the top is crowned by the pole star, which again forms the reference to the world tree. So there you go. Now you know where the Christmas tree is coming from. Okay, sorry to burst your bubble there. And also I talked about Yule, for example, that the evergreens also attract, peaceful little spirits to bless your house. And if you use if you're smudging with the spruce, it has a very purifying effect and protects against negative energies, right? That fits to put the tree in a house to get the negative out and the positive in. So the physical space is thereby connected with the spiritual space, the paradise. So in the spruce alliance and thus provided orientation. So also the flower essence of the spruce helps us to find the right path and the right attitude if we run in the wrong direction, if we have been tricked again, It frees us from fanatical entanglements and encourages us to resolve addiction through alcohol or drugs, for example. So, yeah, the spruce, it's the spirit, the connection between the world. Axis Mundi, okay? And, yeah. And just as she defies cold, wind, and snow as a tree, right? She also gives you backbone and support and steadfastness. So in challenging times, the spirit of that tree is the tree that helps you to be able to rise. I can't speak English. Rise, not raise. I wish I would get a raise. And do it difficult phases of life as well, right? It connects you in you, the earth. It connects the earth in you, okay? Your root chakra, the grounding. And it also connects the sky in you, the crown chakra, and it helps you to become whole. So, and so the message of the spruce is the following. And this was not written by me, just saying. Here in the forest, quiet and steady, I am the mother of all conifers. My mind is mild, gentle and soft, just like my needles. I am the door to the other world in this sense. Help with giving birth, being steadfast, and whip what is too wild. My mind is gentle and soft, and yet so clearly directed. So I aspire high and aim far, bring message to you in the dress of protection and security. I focus on broken minds, lowered heads, Have courage and bravery to live in loyalty to yourself, to stand and stay entirely behind your own dreams. I hold on to what is important to grow, eternal forever. I am your faithful servant, no matter where, just as a child seeks refuge in the lap of his mother. I am the tree that only does you good. Isn't that beautiful? So that was written by a shamanic lady. She said, if the spruce could talk, this is what she would tell us. I love it. I saw it and I had to share it with you. It's really beautiful. So the spruce resin is very healthy. It euphorically affects our soul, right? From the spruce needles and all the resins. Doesn't matter what you burn. So in ancient time, this incense was used as a cure for epidemics because of its fragrance and in cleaning and its disinfection fumigations. They're very, very disinfections. I'm not telling you bully here. So spruce resin has a germicidal effect, and it will disinfect the room air, and also energetically clean the house. And if you burn it, it smells just like forest, and just stimulates all your senses. I love it. So, and it also has a very warming effect on your soul. So it replaces the missing sunlight in the dark half of the year, and when you're balancing a bit into mild depression, and also it has on a physical level, it has a very warming and clarifying effect on the chest and bronchial area, so the entire area of the respiratory organs, so yeah. And also it's you can put it pretty much in every incense mix you create. It's really nice. So, and also with the young shoots, the young shots, the tips, and the fully grown needles, you can prepare an infusion and drink it as a tea. So, and that helps, like I said before, for the respiratory organs. So it helps against cough, asthma, and can even help you with pneumonia. So, and I probably said that we're totally wrong, but you know what I mean, because I can never say it. There are certain words in English I just don't understand. I will never be able to say them. So this tea can be, you can add tea in your honey. Oh my God, honey in your tea. So honey always tastes good, right? And also, with the flu, with influenza, if you make a tea out of pine needles, beautiful. It's really good. I drank it myself. So, like I said, I never talk about any herb or trees or stuff that I've never tried out myself. So, and also not only for the winter or that, but tea also helps again, when you're spring, a little fatigue, and have a little vitamin C deficiency, for example. So, and then we would have the turpentine oil, which contains the essential oil and the resin of the spruce, but it's a little irritating on your skin, so you always have to put it on very diluted. So, because it's good for increasing the blood circulation if you put it on your legs or wherever, or after sport or whatever. But like I said, you need to be careful. So yeah, so you can make like a fatty ointment out of it. That's the best and for rheumatism and all, and for your joints, whatever is affected. Yeah, I mentioned the asthma and all, so so I would be careful with the turpentine oil. Even if you put it in a bath, I would be really careful. So and don't rub it in your eye, I'm telling you that right now. Been there, done that, that's why I'm saying that. By accident, I mean, I didn't wash my hands after. And then I itched my eye. I about thought my eyeball comes out, but it didn't. So, and you can also make the tincture, right, out of the needles. And if you want to put additionally juniper berries to it, perfect. You can really make a good tincture, and then that you can rub for joint pain and yeah. And if you want to drink it as a tincture, don't overdose because you will kind of not damage your kidneys, but it's too much. So as a tea is easier on you. So yeah, that was the spruce. So I have one more, then I'm done. Since we're talking about the light as well, I wanted to bring up one more time the marigold. And also because marigold is not also associated with the light, it's also associated to the death, to the other world, right? So again, we have the whole page here. So in ancient Egypt, it was believed that marigold would give you youth. So the plant is an attribute of many ancient goddesses. So for the Aztecs, or the Mayan, a relative of the marigold was the symbol of the luck goddess. Anna, if you're listening, don't laugh now. Okay, I'm trying to do that. Anna can do that better. Quetzal? Okay, you may laugh now, all of you. So the marigold of the Germanic tribes were dedicated to the goddess Freya. So, and marigold in the European folk belief for faithful love and immortality, because it blooms into the late autumn. So, really nice. And if you put marigold leaves under your bed, it will protect your sleep and makes your dreams come true. How you like that? Well, hopefully good dreams, right? Some of my dreams I don't want to come true. So, marigold expresses the ability to express oneself and to take on the inner meaning while listening to the words of others. That's what that spirit of that plant does for you. Sometimes we hear or do ourselves like sharp or hurtful language, So, and it will reverse it. It brings warmth and gives a deeper awareness of the healing power of words. To understand the real meaning of words, very important, because we all do not understand the real power of words. We just don't. And I'm not talking about not yelling at each other and insulting each other. I mean, our whole language. Doesn't matter which language. I just speak in general of words. So, but the marigold flower essence, what it does also is it helps us to perceive the inner child, which is always vulnerable, right? So it brings you the sun in your heart chakra, and And it's a mood enhancement, you know. It can bring you back the joy into existence. And you can bring it back to earth, that joy, to your earth. You know what I'm saying? So, and also the other world likes to communicate with you through the marigold. So it's also a connection to our ancestors. So, and if you want as much marigold, it's mostly all about love, you know? And not only lovers smudge with it so that their love can last forever, it brings sun into our hearts, and we become receptive to our counterpart. And the incense also gives us a sense of security and lets older, beautiful memories come back into our consciousness. You know, because mostly we have nasty memories. So, but we also have to realize that we have good memories, and it's important to bring them back as well. Not only think about, I did do that, Mr. and Mrs. X did that to me, or why did this happen to me? No, it will bring back good memories. And this sets wonderful feelings that we know from the memories, right? And the smoke of this incense can also help with accumulated emotional aggression. Like, if you build up too much, if you're a person that doesn't want to say when it get bothered, or if something bothers you, and you just build up and you just build up, and then kaboom. And I'm saying that, been there, done that, and I don't want to go back there ever again. That's why I speak pretty much what I think now. So with this incense, our soul calms down and we come back into harmony with it. So, and I find this matches the energy of the badger, right? Because like I said, he can be aggressive too. Like us, you know, if we want to protect either us or someone we care for. So the marigold is the spirit of protection. Yeah. So very nice. Well, so that was it for today. And yeah, next week I will be back with Otala, the last rune of the Fudak. I hope you enjoyed it and can do something with the informations. I should not constantly apologize for my English, but I do. Yeah. But that's pretty much it, what I have to say now. Yeah, thank you everyone for listening. And I hope you will be back next week to listen to the last rune of our Fudak journey. And yeah, much love to all of you. Bye-bye.